My parents forced me to marry my best friend. I know that sounds crazy, but when your parents spend your whole childhood planning your wedding before you've even had your first kiss, things get real messy real fast. I grew up with another family who were basically like relatives to us. My parents and their parents were best friends for years. Vacations together, holidays together, everything. Their son, Jake, was my best friend since before I could even talk. We had sleepovers every weekend, built pillow forts, and got in trouble together more times than I can count. Everyone used to joke that one day we'd get married. Back then, it was cute, but as we got older, it became uncomfortable. When we were around 15, things naturally changed. Jake got into sports, I got into art, and we slowly drifted apart. Still, our parents never stopped with the jokes. You two are soulmates. It's fate. One day you'll thank us. It was embarrassing, but we laughed it off. Years later, both of us moved on with our lives. Jake met Tracy, and I started dating someone too. But our families weren't thrilled. They still talked about how Jake and I were meant to be. When he got engaged, my mom literally cried, not because she was happy, but because she thought he was making a mistake. I felt awful for Tracy. So that Christmas, I pulled her aside and explained everything. How Jake and I were never anything more than friends, and that our parent had just built up this weird fantasy for years. She was really sweet about it, and we actually became friends after that. Ironically, Jake and I started talking more again, mostly to laugh about how insane our parents were being. For a while, it felt like old times. Then, as their wedding day got closer, the pressure from our families got worse. One night during dinner, my dad literally pulled out an old fake photo of Jake and me as kids in a pretend wedding. They'd actually staged it when we were like 6. Everyone laughed, except Tracy. She looked hurt. I tried to smooth things over, but the damage was done. The next week, my brother invited me to hang out, said it was just a chill night with friends. But when I showed up, I realized too late it was Jake's bachelor party. Everyone there, including my own brother, kept making jokes, pushing Jake and me together, asking when we were finally going to admit the truth. Jake looked so uncomfortable. Eventually, he pulled me aside, apologized, and said, "I think it'd be better if you didn't come to the wedding. Tracy's already feeling insecure, and this isn't helping." I felt humiliated, but I understood. Then, the next morning, everything exploded. Someone had filmed Jake walking me out to my car after the party, just a quick goodbye, but the video made it look like something else entirely. It got sent around to both our families and even reached Tracy. She called me crying. She said she couldn't believe we'd done this to her, that she should have trusted her gut. I tried to explain, but she hung up. Meanwhile, my parents were celebrating. They said things like, "Well, at least now everyone knows what we knew all along." They didn't care about the fallout, about Jake, or Tracy, or me. They just cared that their fantasy might finally come true. That was the moment I realized how toxic it all was. I stopped speaking to my parents for a while after that. Jake ended up calling off the wedding, not because of me, but because he realized he needed to step away from the chaos too. We still talk sometimes, but things aren't the same anymore. Our parents got what they wanted. They ruined everything, and they don't even see it.